If you've been feeling lately like you're really puffy, really itchy, anxious, and like you're reacting to everything you're eating, it may not be the food specifically, it may be your gut, and it may be histamine intolerance. So let's talk about that today. My name's Ashley Sweeney, and I'm a registered dietitian who works with moms and families improving their health with gut health. Another common symptom with histamine intolerance is that you feel like your nose is just constantly dripping, or as soon as you eat some foods, you're just like running your nose, itchy ears, your body just feels kind of itchy. That's a sign of histamine intolerance. A lot of moms that I work with have no idea about histamines and no idea that that could be a culprit. They just think, oh my gosh, I'm stressed. Foods are just not reacting with me anymore. I'm just getting old. It's probably just perimenopause or menopause. And while our hormones do come into play with it, you can also get some relief pretty easily when we understand what's going on and what the culprit is. If you want to skip this video and you just want the PDF of what should I eat, what should I avoid, how long should I do this for, make sure you just sign up and download the PDF that I have in the description below. You'll get that sent right to your email. So what are histamines? Well, they're natural chemicals, right? And they are occurring throughout our digestive system, our immune response. They are important for brain signaling. And you might be familiar with it if you're having an allergic reaction, right? Your body views it as an intruder, and then that reaction goes out of whack. You might get hives, you might break out in rashes, itchy throats, and so some of that is allergic reaction, some of that's histamine response from your body producing histamines in response to an outside trigger that they view as an invader. Now, sometimes you can take an antihistamine and that'll help calm down that reaction. Now, that's on a pretty big scale, but that happens in little ways for many people with things like fermented foods, leftovers, red wine, dark chocolate, vinegars, avocados, like ripe bananas. Those things produce histamines and have higher histamine levels naturally. And when they're eaten in your body and you already have a high histamine load, you might get a reaction from those. And it may not happen every single time you eat that food because that bucket and the amount of histamines you've had lately hasn't been that bad. But if you're stressed and you've had a lot of those foods, maybe there's some hormone stuff going on, then that bucket might easily topple over. It's why this is hard to figure out because is it histamines? Last time I ate avocado, it was totally fine. This time it's bothering me. I ate chicken the other day and I was totally fine, but I'm eating the exact same chicken right now and I'm like, my skin's flushy, my nose is dripping, my ears are itchy. And it's doing that because it's higher histamines after it's been used as a leftover. So you're not crazy. Those things are real chemical reactions that are happening in your body and producing those signals warning you something's off balance. A key enzyme that we need to help with this histamine breakdown is DAO. It's made in your gut and it's essential for the foods that we eat to be broken down properly. And without it, the high histamine foods might cause reactions. And many people have issues with DAO, whether it's from genetics, high stress, or gut issues. Now, this might hit you especially hard if you're a mom because you have a higher level of stress. That stress may have depleted some of your B vitamins and that magnesium, which are very important for the DAO production to reduce that histamine level in the gut. Pregnancy, postpartum, perimenopause, menopause, they all shift our hormones, obviously, and estrogen can increase the histamine sensitivity. You might have some gut inflammation, things like from antibiotics in the past, medication usage, stress, nutrient depletion, and a lack of the good bacteria which help protect our gut lining. And when that happens, it can damage the gut lining where the DAO is made. So if you feel like you might be reacting to like everything and anything under the sun lately, it's probably not in your head. It's probably not just your hormones. It might be caused by this histamine intolerance. Let's talk about a low histamine diet and why this may be important. Now, I don't believe that this is necessary forever, right? You probably right now have a really high sensitivity and you might need to calm that histamine level down and calm down some of the inflammation happening in your gut. And with limiting some high histamine foods temporarily for 2 to 4 weeks, you might find some relief. And then you might also be able to pinpoint if this is an issue for you pretty cheaply. But the goal would always be for me with clients to reintroduce those foods so that there's always variety. Because foods that are high in histamines aren't necessarily bad and they're not unhealthy. They're just not working for you right now. So some of these foods, let's go over those. Fermented foods, you know that these are supposed to be good for you. Sauerkraut, kimchi, vinegar, miso, soy sauce, yogurts. The fermentation increases histamines because the bacteria produce it when they're fermenting. Aged cheeses are another culprit. Unfortunately, those charcuterie boards might have to take a break, but the aged cheeses have increased microbial levels and they release histamines. Processed and cured meats, the curing, the smoking, the aging, all of those increase histamine production. Another one is canned fish, canned smoked fish. Unless it's fresh fish or it's been flash frozen, fish produce histamine pretty rapidly. Certain fruits and veggies, so avocados, especially the more ripe it is, tomatoes, spinach, eggplant, olives, some berries, bananas, especially when they're overly ripe, the more brownish, the more that dark yellow, the more histamines they've released already. Coffee, chocolate, and alcohol are high histamines, and they also block DAO enzyme from doing its job. Leftovers and slow cooked dishes. Unfortunately, you know I'm queen of leftovers and I love good leftover meals. However, if this is a problem, you might want to take a break from that and be making your food fresh, because the longer the food sits, the more histamine that is produced. And it's unfortunately why you might have had fresh grilled chicken yesterday and then today you went to go heat it up and you're like, what's wrong with me? What about dairy? Now it's lower in histamines and isn't a high source. However, if you have any form of sensitivity or you suspect a sensitivity, then you might want to remove it temporarily during this time to give your gut some chance to reset from any potential inflammation that's happening from dairy. Okay, so what can you eat? That feels like a lot of things that you can't have or shouldn't have temporarily while you're seeing if you're reacting to histamines and reducing that histamine load. So anything fresh, any fresh proteins, chicken, turkey, meat, ground beef. You can definitely have fresh fish, or if it's been flash frozen, apples, pears, blueberries, watermelon, peaches, plums are all good options. Low histamine vegetables are things like zucchini, cucumbers, carrots, leafy greens, green beans, broccoli, sweet potatoes, beets, all great options to be including. If you're going to remove dairy, then you could try some dairy-free options. Coconut milk, almond milk, soy milk are all good options to try. And of course, plenty of healthy fats are totally great options to keep in your diet. Coconut oil, butter, ghee, olive oil, avocado oil, great options. Fresh herbs and spices, pretty much anything. There's not really any off limits. The key here is freshness. So the more fresh, the better. If you can cook it, and if you need to freeze it, then freeze it right away. Try not to batch prep foods during this time, and try not to make a bunch of leftovers to last throughout the week during this time, especially while you're trying to lower this load. It's not forever, short term. See if this improves your symptoms, and then you'll have a direction to move forward. If you want a PDF of high histamine foods to avoid low histamine foods that you should be eating, then make sure you sign up for my histamine food list, and you can find that in the description below. That's it for now. Make sure you're subscribed and tune into some of my other videos about gut health and gut health for the family, and I'll see you in the next videos.